Okay, how are we gonna start this video, boy? My nips are showing a little bit. What's up guys, Andrew Bainey here, and on today's video, we are gonna be talking about how you can distribute your music to Apple, Spotify, and everywhere else using an awesome service called DistroKid. This video is sponsored by DistroKid, however, I just wanna mention that I have been using their service for over 3 or 4 years now, I think. I've pretty much tried every digital distribution platform up until this point. I've tried TuneCore, CD Baby, Sounddrop, Louder. I'm sure I've tried some others, and eventually I came to the conclusion that I liked DistroKid the best before they even wanted to work with me. So trust me when I say that this product is awesome, and I truly think that you guys will love it as well. So there are many reasons that I eventually decided to go with DistroKid, and we're gonna go through all of them in this video, as well as explain how they work and why I think they're important and why you should be utilizing them if you're a musician and wanna get your music out there. I also wanted to show these two quotes on the screen right now because I just saw them when I was doing more research for this video, and I thought it was really funny that both the founder of CD Baby and the founder of TuneCore both essentially looks like they admitted that DistroKid was better than the product that they helped invent. Kind of funny, and yeah, it kind of speaks for itself right there. So first and foremost, I want to mention that DistroKid has hooked me up with a link where you guys can get a discount if you sign up for DistroKid, and I also get a percentage of that. So if you guys have been on the fence or considering using DistroKid, you can use that link to get a little bit of money off, and hopefully by the end of this video, I convince you guys that you should use this platform. And if you want to, again, use that link. It's gonna be in the description and in the pinned comment below. So essentially with DistroKid, there are 3 different plans. We're gonna be talking about 2 of them particularly in this video because the third one is the label plan, and I highly doubt that any of my viewers are running a label where you need to upload like 100 different bands. I personally have the Musician Plus plan, but I'm going to talk about both the Musician plan and the Musician Plus plan in this video. Okay, so first up we have the Musician plan. This is the one that most of you guys are probably going to want to go with. With this one, you can have 1 artist on your plan, so either your name or your band's name, and with that, you can upload unlimited songs, you get verified on Spotify, you can upload unlimited lyrics, and you can also use something called Teams, which is super important, and we're gonna dive way deeper into that later because I use that feature a lot. So then moving on to the next plan, which again is the one that I have, that is called the Musician Plus plan. So you get everything I just mentioned, plus in addition to that, you get synced lyrics for Instagram and Apple Music, which again, we'll talk about later. You can also get daily stats, which is a little nicer than the basic plan where you have to go digging around through Spotify and Apple Music analytics, which are not that reliable. You can also get a customized label name, customizable release date, which is also super important, and we're gonna talk more about that later. You can also get a customizable pre-order date, which of course is important if you want to set up pre-orders at all. And last but not least, you can use up to 2 artists or band names. So again, if you have like, let's say a solo project and a band, like I do in my case, then this would be the plan that you want to go with. And that's the main reason that I chose this one, in addition to the pre-order dates and the release schedule thing that I mentioned earlier. Those are all very important to me personally, and I'm gonna explain why and why I think that they are very useful, and maybe you should use it as well. And last but not least, as I mentioned earlier, there is a more expensive label plan, which we will not be talking about in this video because I don't think it's gonna apply to me or really probably any of you. Okay, so now that I've given you guys a basic overview of the plans and options with DistroKid, we're gonna do a deep dive into the features that I think are the most useful and important ones that you guys should definitely be looking at when considering using DistroKid. So first and foremost is getting verified on Spotify. Again, this is available in both plans, and I think that that one is very, very important because for some reason, some weird psychological thing that happens in the human brain, if you see that blue check mark next to someone's name, you automatically want to pay more attention to them. And if you're a musician or an artist, you obviously want the most amount of people to pay attention to you. So, I mean, if you can go ahead and get that verified check mark by using this service, that in and of itself is a pretty big selling feature in my opinion. But in addition to that, getting verified on Spotify in particular also unlocks a ton of extra features on Spotify that you can't normally get. So this next part I want to talk about is kind of a combination of the getting verified step as well as the ability to schedule a release date that I mentioned earlier. So again, this will be specific to the Musician Plus plan. But this part is very important because with Spotify, once you're verified and if you schedule a release date for a future date, it will actually show up on your Spotify profile in this section called Upcoming Music. And if your song is in that upcoming section, you actually have the option to submit your song for playlist consideration. And this is one of the most useful things on Spotify, in my opinion, and in many, many other people's opinions. I personally use this feature whenever I possibly can because there's been a few times where I've submitted a song to a playlist and the plays have gone astronomically higher than they ever would have if I would have just released the song normally. Of course, with pitching to Spotify playlists, it's obviously completely up to the editor who happens to look at your submission and whether they decide to put it in a playlist or not. So it's never a guaranteed thing. I personally put everything I upload into consideration for playlists, and it honestly has only worked like 2 or 3 times, but even just having it work those 2 or 3 times out of like 20 to 50 songs is completely worth it, because I earn so much more money when my songs are on playlists than they normally would, and obviously more plays as well. So I'm gonna show you guys on the screen right now 2 specific examples of times when this happened. The first is my Bulls on Parade cover with Johnny Chardulo. This song went on a Spotify editorial playlist, and you can see on the screen right now how much of a percentage of the total plays of the song came from the playlist that was selected once I submitted it for consideration. And the second example is I want to show you guys Death's Grip, which is a song by my ex-band Galactic Pegasus. So this was a completely original song, not a cover, and it still managed to get on the deathcore playlist, which again only happened because we submitted it to Spotify playlist consideration. And that is our only song that has that many plays by far, and that was our biggest song to date, which is kind of crazy because it was one of the last songs we ever released. Okay, next up we're going to talk about the team split payments feature. This one is available on all DistroKid plans, so don't worry about which one you pick for this one. And basically what this does is it allows you to create a team on a per release basis. So for example, I use this feature a lot because I do a lot of collabs and a lot of collab covers. So pretty much anytime I do one of these collabs, I always do a split payment. So anything that you ever see with Johnny in particular, we pretty much are always doing a 50-50 split. So the way that you do this with DistroKid is incredibly simple. As long as the other person you're collaborating with has a DistroKid plan, basically you just set up a percentage to go to this email address, and it just automatically routes all money to that email address. And you don't have to worry about calculating any bullshit yourself and like sending it on PayPal or e-transfers or whatever. DistroKid does it all for you, and you never ever have to worry about it. Okay, the next feature we're gonna talk about is slightly more complicated, but bear with me, I'm gonna try to explain it as best I can. It is called Hyperfollow, and basically it builds an automatic link tree on a per release basis that basically auto-populates your release as it goes live. So let me explain that a little bit further, because I know that sounds kind of confusing. So essentially when you upload a song to DistroKid, it automatically generates a sort of mini web page, if you will, for this release, which they have chosen to call Hyperfollow. And essentially what it is it basically gives you a link that you can post anywhere you want on all your social medias, on your YouTube videos, whatever. And essentially as that song goes live on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, whatever, the corresponding links for each of those platforms then goes into that one link. So now instead of having to post like 5 to 10 different links for every single streaming platform, you just post this one Hyperfollow link one time, and anyone who wants to listen to the song anywhere just clicks that link, and then it shows them all the available options, and they can just click one more time and go to whatever their desired streaming platform is. But in addition to that, it also has a ton of extra features that are specific to Spotify that are also incredibly useful. As you guys can notice by now, obviously I'm a huge Spotify fan, and I think that that's a very important platform to grow, but I digress. So the good thing about Hyperfollow is that Hyperfollow link is created immediately as soon as you upload that song, before it's even live anywhere. So again, if you're like me and you post the song on like Facebook or YouTube or something like that before the song is ready everywhere else, you can still go ahead and drop that Hyperfollow link. And then when people click it, they will, instead of seeing where it's available, they will see a pre-save button. And that pre-save button is incredibly useful because if people click that, they basically automatically follow you on Spotify and automatically sign up for a notification when your song actually drops. So in a way, you're actually growing your Spotify even more because people will be following your profile in addition to listening to that song whenever it comes out. The final feature that I want to talk about is a slightly new one, so I haven't personally used it yet, but I think it's very valuable and I think a lot of you guys will be interested in it. So we're going to talk about it anyways, and that is synced lyrics. So if you guys are avid users of Instagram like me, you might have seen this thing where you're scrolling through your friends' stories on Instagram, and then you come across one where it actually has synced lyrics that are synced up to a song that scroll on the screen, kind of like a karaoke style looking thing. And that also happens on Apple Music apparently. I don't personally use Apple Music, so I haven't seen it there, but I definitely have seen it on Instagram, and it's becoming a very popular feature for people to use. And it's obviously a good way to kind of get people to encourage them to share your music into their Instagram stories. The only reason that I personally have not used this yet is because I haven't released any original music since this feature was enabled. So I haven't had any lyrics to do. I've only released covers and instrumental music. But as soon as I drop more new original music, you can be sure I will be using this feature. DistroKid is apparently the only distributor in the world currently that has this feature. And in addition to that, they've built their own interface, which makes this very easy to do. So basically all you have to do is play the song, and then as the song is playing, you hit the space bar every time there's a lyric. And that's all you gotta do. It's almost like a very easy version of playing Guitar Hero to sync your lyrics up to the music. And that's it. Once you do that, it goes out into the world, onto Spotify, Apple Music, and everywhere else. Very, very simple. So there are obviously tons more features on DistroKid that might be useful and specific to you that maybe I didn't talk about in this video because I don't personally use them. So once again, if you guys want to learn anything more about DistroKid, or if this video has convinced you that maybe you want to try signing up, go ahead and click that link that's in the description and in the pinned comment below to learn more and potentially sign up and get your music out there for the world to hear. That's pretty much all I have to say for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope it was interesting to you guys. I know some of you guys already know what DistroKid is, but for those of you that are new to music, or perhaps maybe working on a music project for the first time in this quarantine, finally getting your music out there, I really want you guys to consider this as your option for digital distribution. And of course, last but not least, I want to give a huge thank you to DistroKid for sponsoring this video. This would not be possible without you, and in these trying times of dropping ad revenue and global pandemic, sponsorship is much appreciated on my channel. I also want to give a huge shout out to all my Patreon members whose names are on the screen at this point in time. I know this video isn't particularly related to what I offer on Patreon, but I figured I would thank you guys anyways because of course your support is always appreciated. So if you guys are ever interested in getting a shout out on the screen like these people here, or guitar tabs, or audio downloads, or stems, you can find all of that on my Patreon page, which is also linked in the description below. All right guys, that'll do it for this video. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below and I will try my best to answer them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.